learning English for years. Yet the moment someone speaks to you, your brain shuts off and you feel stupid. I got rejected 100 times on purpose, and that's the exact reason my English finally exploded. Before we start, do me a quick favor. Hit like if you've ever frozen in a real conversation, subscribe to Miss Ava English, and comment what country you're watching from, because I want to tailor more videos to the places where English matters most. Now listen, I'm not going to tell you to be confident. Confidence is what people say when they don't have a real method. I'm going to tell you what actually happened, what I actually did, and what you can copy starting today, even if you're shy, even if your accent isn't great, even if you've failed 100 times already. When I was younger, I got rejected 100 times, and that's exactly why my English improved. Here's the uncomfortable truth. I didn't improve because I learned more grammar rules. I improved because I collected no, like it was a currency. One day, I made myself a deal. I would stop pretending I was studying, and I would start training my mouth like an athlete trains a muscle. So I walked into places where English existed in real life, cafes, hostels, tourist spots, anywhere foreigners might be. And I asked strangers one simple question the same way, every single time. Hi, can I practice English with you for 30 seconds? That's it. Not 5 minutes. Not a full conversation. 30 seconds. The first time I asked, my heart was pounding like I had committed a crime. My mouth went dry. I practiced the sentence in my head 10 times before I said it once out loud. And when I finally asked, the person looked at me like I was weird and said, no. It stung, like stupidly painful. Not because the answer was no, but because my brain instantly made it personal. See? You're embarrassing. Your English is bad. You should stop. That's the voice that destroys most learners. That soft, weak voice that wants comfort more than growth. And if that voice is running your life, you will stay stuck forever. So I asked again, another person, same sentence, no, again, and again. Some said no politely. Some didn't even look at me. One person laughed a little, not even cruelly, just surprised, and walked away. And I remember thinking, wow, I have been terrified of this moment for years, and I'm still alive. That's when something clicked. The fear wasn't killing me. Avoiding the fear was killing my progress. Because here's what most people do. They protect their ego by staying inside, study mode. They watch videos, they read, they do exercises, they collect vocabulary like trophies. But then a human speaks to them, and they freeze. If that's you, I want you to answer this honestly. Have you studied for years but still freeze when someone speaks to you? If yes, good. That means you're not broken. You're just trained wrong. And that night, after getting rejected over and over, I went home and realized something brutal. I could explain English, I could recognize words, I could pass quizzes, but my mouth couldn't perform under pressure. That's the difference between knowing and being able to use. So here's the big idea, the line I want you to burn into your brain. You don't need more grammar. You need more reps. Your brain is trained. Your mouth is not. Let me say it in a way you can't ignore. If you want to play piano, you can't read about piano for 5 years and then expect your fingers to move smoothly. Your fingers need repetition. Speaking English is the same. Your mouth is the instrument. Your tongue is the fingers. And you've been doing theory while skipping practice. That's why you freeze. Not because you're stupid. Not because you're not talented. Because you are avoiding discomfort. And yes, this is going to sound harsh, but if you keep protecting your comfort, your English will never change. Ever. So I built a simple system. And it's the reason I went from freezing to speaking fast, naturally, without translating every word in my head. I call it the 30-second method. And before you roll your eyes and say, That sounds too simple. Let me tell you something. Simple is not easy. Simple is what works. Complex is what people hide behind when they don't want to do the hard part. Here's the method. You can start today. You can do it in any country. You can do it even if you have zero native speakers around you. Step 1. Pick one daily micro question. Not 10 questions, not any topic. One micro question. Short, practical, repeatable. And here's the rule that makes it powerful. You use the same question all week because repetition is not boring. Repetition is how your mouth learns speed, rhythm, and confidence. If you change the question every day, you stay a beginner forever because you're always starting from zero. So choose something you can actually use in real life. Examples. Where are you from? What do you do for work? What brings you here today? What do you like to do on weekends? What's the best food in your country? Pick one. Let's use where are you from because it's universal. A person can ask it anywhere, in an airport, in a classroom, online, at work. Now, most learners hear that question and their brain goes, where are you from? Okay, I know it, I know it, I know it. And then silence, not because they don't know the words, because they've never trained the answer out loud enough times for it to come out smoothly. So we fix that with step 2. Step 2. Record yourself answering it 10 times. Yes, 10 times. And yes, you're allowed to hate it at first. Most people hate hearing their voice. That's fine. Do it anyway. Because the recording does something magical. It exposes the gap between what you think you can say and what you can actually say. You will hear the pauses. You will hear the you will hear the messy pronunciation. And that's good. That's reality. That's the training starting. Now here's the key that makes this method insanely effective. You are not trying to create 10 different answers. You record the same answer 10 times because your goal is not creativity. Your goal is fluency, automatic, smooth, confident delivery under pressure. For example, your first answer might be basic. I'm from Mexico. Cool, simple, real. Now say it again. I'm from Mexico. Again, I'm from Mexico. By the 5th time, your mouth starts to relax. By the 10th time, you'll feel it. The sentence becomes a reflex instead of a battle. And if you're thinking, but that's too short, good, because next you'll upgrade it, but only in one tiny way. Which brings us to step 3, and this is where most people mess up because they're impatient. They try to improve everything at once. New vocabulary, perfect grammar, perfect accent, fast speed, big confidence, and then they fail because that's not training, that's punishment. So here's the rule. Upgrade one thing only, pronunciation or speed or confidence, not all. Pick one target for the day, just one, because one upgrade per day over 7 days is a real transformation without burnout. And once you get this, you'll stop learning English and start building English that actually comes out of your mouth when you need it. And once you accept that, the next step becomes stupidly clear. Because the real problem isn't that you don't know enough English. The real problem is you keep waiting to feel ready before you speak. So let's lock in step 3 properly, because this is where your progress either becomes unstoppable or dies. You choose one upgrade per day. One. Not because you're lazy, because your brain learns faster when the target is small and repeatable. Here are 3 clean upgrade options. Pick one each day. Option A. Pronunciation upgrade. You keep the same answer, but you sharpen one sound. Example. I'm from Mexico. Maybe your from sounds like from or from. Fine. Pick one word to polish. From. You listen to a native clip for 10 seconds, copy it, then record again. Not perfect. Better. Option B, speed upgrade. You keep the same answer, but you reduce pauses. Your goal is not fast like a rapper. Your goal is smooth like you're not panicking. So you record the same sentence, but you try to remove the dead space between words. Option C, confidence upgrade. This one is powerful if you're shy. You keep the same answer, but you change your body. Yes, your body. You sit up, breathe, smile slightly, and say it like you belong in the conversation. Confidence isn't a personality, it's a physical behavior you can practice. Now, after you do step 1, step 2, step 3, you have something most learners don't have, a sentence that your mouth can actually deliver, which brings us to step 4, the part that makes everything real. Step 4, ask one real human per day. 1, not 5, not when I have time. 1. And here's the cheat code. It can be online or offline. Offline, cafe, campus, tourist spot, coworker, anyone. Online, language exchange apps, Discord servers, multiplayer games with voice chat, even short calls with a tutor or a friend. The point is not to have a long conversation. The point is to force your mouth to perform in real life for 30 seconds. Because that 30 seconds does something grammar never can. It trains you to function under pressure. And yes, you will get rejected sometimes, but that's part of the method, not a mistake. When you collect no, you are building emotional armor. You're teaching your nervous system, this is safe. I can do this. And after enough reps, something weird happens. You stop fearing the moment. You start enjoying it. Now let me show you why this works with a micro example that you can copy today. Question: where are you from? Most people answer in level 1 English, basic, correct, but dead. Level 1 basic. I'm from Brazil. Great, no shame. This is your foundation. But when you repeat it for a few days, you can upgrade it without changing the whole sentence. Level 2, better. I'm from Brazil, from a city called Recife. Notice what I did. Same structure, just one extra piece. Now you sound more human. Level 3, natural. I'm from Brazil. Actually, I grew up in Recife in the Northeast. It's really warm there. That word actually is doing something important. It buys you time, it connects ideas, and it makes you sound like a real speaker instead of a textbook. These are called bridge phrases, and if you learn a few, your speaking will jump immediately because you'll stop sounding like you're translating. Here are 3 bridge phrases that change everything. Actually, to be honest, the main thing is they're simple, but they give you control. Let me show you the same answer using those bridges. Where are you from? I'm from Brazil. Basic. Now add a bridge. Actually, I'm from Brazil, but I've been living in Spain for 2 years. Another bridge. To be honest, I'm from Brazil, but I don't sound like my hometown because I moved a lot. Another. The main thing is, I'm from Brazil, and I'd love to visit Canada one day. Do you see what's happening? You're not using advanced grammar. You're stacking small, repeatable pieces that your mouth can handle. That's real fluency. Now, here's a mistake I need you to avoid because it destroys the method. Do not change your micro question every day. People do this because they want entertainment. They want variety. They want to feel like they're learning more. But learning more is not the goal. Speaking better is the goal. So keep one question for a full week. Week 1, where are you from? Week 2, what do you do? Week 3, what do you like to do on weekends? 1 week, 1 question, 7 days, same reps. Your mouth will transform. And if you want this to be even more effective, here's a simple daily structure. 1 minute. Pick your target, pronunciation or speed or confidence. 3 minutes. Record your answer 10 times 1 minute. Listen to one recording and notice one flaw 30 seconds. Upgrade that one thing and record again 30 seconds. Ask one person, online or offline, that's under 7 minutes. If you tell me you don't have time, you are lying to yourself. You have time. You just don't want to feel uncomfortable. And I get it. Discomfort feels like danger when you're not used to it. But the truth is, discomfort is the training. Now, let's talk about what happens when you actually do this for a few days, because this is where people start to win. Day 1, you feel stupid. Day 2, you still feel awkward. Day 3, you notice your mouth moving faster. Day 4, you stop translating every word. Day 5, your confidence rises because you have proof. Day 6, you start improvising naturally. Day 7, you realize you're a different speaker than you were a week ago. Not because you became talented, because you finally did reps, and reps are undefeated. Now let me hit you with a real mindset shift that changed my results completely. Your goal is not to avoid rejection. Your goal is to collect it. Because every no is a rep. Every awkward moment is a rep. Every shaky sentence is a rep. And the person you become after 100 reps is not the same person. Most learners quit at 10 reps. That's why they stay the same for 10 years. Don't be that person. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how to ask strangers or online partners without feeling creepy, what to say when they say yes, and how to keep the conversation flowing even when your brain goes blank. Here's the secret. You don't need to be extroverted to practice with real humans. You just need a clean, non-weird way to ask and a simple plan for what to do the moment they say. Because most people fail at this part for two reasons. They either, one, sound too needy, or two, they have no structure. So the conversation dies and they feel embarrassed. We're going to fix both. First, how to ask without feeling creepy. You're not walking up to someone and saying, "Teach me English." That puts pressure on them. People hate pressure. They'll say no to protect their time. Instead, you ask for something tiny and specific. That's why the 30 seconds works. You smile lightly, you keep your tone calm, and you say, "Hi, sorry to bother you. Can I practice English with you for 30 seconds? Just one question." That line, "just one question," is gold. It makes the request feel safe. It's not a trap. It's not going to become a 10-minute situation. It's one question. If they say no, you don't apologize like you committed a crime. You say, "No worries. Have a great day." And you leave. That's it. No sadness, no arguing, no awkward standing there. You exit clean. Now here's the part that changes everything. You must decide in advance what happens if they say yes. Because when someone says sure, your brain can go blank even if your English is good. That's normal. Adrenaline kills memory. So you need a microstructure, a script, a tiny one. Here's the simplest structure I used. Ask the micro question, answer it yourself, add one bridge phrase, end fast and thank them. So if the question is, "Where are you from?" You do this. You, "Where are you from?" Them, "I'm from Germany." You, "Oh, nice. Actually, I'm from Vietnam. I'm practicing English for 30 seconds a day." You, "Thanks so much. Have a good one." Done. Notice something. You didn't try to be interesting. You didn't try to impress. You just completed the rep. This is where weak people mess up. They want the conversation to be perfect. They want the other person to like them. They want to avoid looking awkward. And that desire for perfection is exactly why they never get fluent. You're not there to perform. You're there to train. Now let's handle the hardest moment. When your brain goes blank mid-sentence. This is what happens to almost everyone, especially when the other person speaks fast or asks a follow-up. So you need panic-proof phrases. These are simple sentences that buy you time without looking stupid. Here are the ones I used constantly. "Sorry, can you say that one more time?" "Give me 1 second. How do you say?" "Let me think for a moment." These phrases are not advanced, but they give you control. They turn a freeze into a pause. And there's one more phrase that's even more powerful because it turns your weakness into confidence. "I'm still learning, but I'll try." Say that once, and the pressure drops instantly. People become kinder, they slow down, they help you, and you stop trying to hide. Most learners try to hide their weakness. That's why they stay weak. Now, let me show you how to keep the conversation flowing for just a little longer without forcing it. You only need two types of follow-up questions. Type 1, the echo question. You repeat one word they said as a question. Them, I'm from Turkey, you. Turkey? Them, yeah, Istanbul. You, oh, Istanbul. Nice. This works because it requires almost no vocabulary, but it keeps the other person talking. And when they talk, you get listening reps too. Type 2. The simple follow-up. Pick one. What about you? Do you like it there? How long have you been here? Is it your first time here? That's it. And here's the key retention point for your own brain. You are not trying to have a conversation. You are trying to repeat a pattern. Ask, answer, bridge, follow up, exit. Now let's go online because some of you are thinking, I don't have foreigners in my town. I'm not in a tourist city. Good. Online is even easier, and it's available to anyone in any country. Here are 3 realistic places where I got reps. Language exchange apps, text or short voice. You don't need long calls. You can send a 20-second voice note. That counts. If you can send one voice note per day, your speaking improves fast. Discord communities. There are English practice servers. There are gaming servers. There are hobby servers. You join a voice room and you say one sentence. That's it. Online games with voice chat. This is underrated because it's natural. You're not practicing, you're communicating to play. Even simple phrases like wait, over here, nice job are reps that build fluency. Now, I want to make something very clear. When you practice online, you still keep the 30-second rule, because if you jump into a 10-minute call as a beginner, you will drown, you will panic, you will hate it, then you will quit. Small reps build big confidence. Now let's talk about rejection again, because your brain is still scared of it. Rejection feels like a judgment, but most of the time, it's not about you. They might be busy, they might be tired, they might not speak English well themselves, they might be socially anxious, they might just not want to talk. So if you make rejection personal, you're being stupid. You're making up a story that hurts you. Instead, treat rejection like numbers. If your goal is 1 human per day, you might need to ask 3 people to get 1 yes. That's normal. And here's a mindset that helped me a lot. Every no is proof you're doing the work. Every yes is a bonus rep. Now, to keep yourself consistent for 7 days, you need a scoreboard because motivation is unreliable. Here's what you track daily. Did I record 10 answers? Yes, no. Did I upgrade one thing? Yes, no. Did I ask one human? Yes, no. How many no did I collect today? That last one is important. It turns rejection into progress. And when your brain starts making excuses, I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not ready. You look at your scoreboard and you realize the truth. You're not stuck because of English. You're stuck because you keep negotiating with discomfort. Stop negotiating. Now, before we move on, I want you to imagine something. Imagine you do this for 7 days. Just 7. Not a year. Not someday. 7 days. How many times will your mouth speak English out loud? Because when real people speak fast, your brain doesn't fail. It does exactly what you trained it to do. Panic, translate, freeze. So we're going to train a different response. One that keeps you in control, even when you're lost. Let me give you the truth. Fluent speakers are not fluent because they know every word. They're fluent because they know how to survive missing words without collapsing. You need rescue moves, and you're going to practice them the same way. Small, repeatable, real. Rescue move 1. Control the speed without sounding weak. Most learners stay silent because they think asking someone to repeat is embarrassing. That's ego. And ego is the enemy of growth. Use these lines. Sorry. Could you say that a bit slower? Could you repeat that one more time? I caught the first part, but not the last part. That third one is powerful because it shows effort. People respect effort. They slow down automatically. Here's the key. Don't say it like you're apologizing for existing. Say it calmly. You're not begging. You're communicating. Rescue. Move to. Paraphrase what you understood. This is the fastest way to look confident even when you missed half the sentence. You say, "So you mean, let me check if I understood." Basically, you're saying, example, them. I moved here last year because the job market is better, but it was hard at first. You, even if you missed some words, so you mean you moved here for work, and the beginning was difficult. Now you're controlling the conversation. You're not drowning in it. Rescue moved 3. Use the safe sentence when you're blank. You need one sentence that you can always say while your brain reloads. Here are safe sentences. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. In my experience, they buy you time, and time is oxygen. Rescue move 4. Describe the word you don't know. This is how native speakers talk too. They forget words all the time, they just don't panic. Use. How do you say? It's like. It's the thing that. Example. You forget receipt. You say, how do you say? The paper you get after you pay. The proof. Boom. You stayed in English. You didn't switch languages. That's the win. Rescue move 5. Use simple alternatives instead of searching for the perfect word. This is another ego trap. Learners think if they can't say it perfectly, they shouldn't say it at all. Wrong. If you can't say I was overwhelmed, say I was stressed. If you can't say I'm exhausted, say I'm very tired. Simple words spoken smoothly. Beat advanced words stuck in your throat. Now let's talk about listening, because speaking fails when listening fails. If someone talks fast and you try to understand every single word, you will lose. Instead, you listen for meaning, not words. Here's how. Listen for these anchors: who, person, when, time, where, place, why, reason, feeling, emotion. If you catch those 5 anchors, you can respond even if you miss details. Example. Them. Last year I started working night shifts in a hotel, and at first it was terrible because my sleep was messed up, but now I'm used to it. Anchors when last year, what night shifts were hotel feeling terrible, then okay now, why? Sleep messed up. Your response can be simple and still natural. Wow, night shifts are tough. So at first your sleep was bad, but now you've adapted? That's a real conversation. Now here's a drill that makes you unstoppable against fast speech. It's called 3-second shadowing. You take any short English clip, YouTube, podcast, movie, whatever. You listen to 3 seconds, pause. Repeat exactly what you heard, not perfectly, as close as you can. Then next 3 seconds. Do this for 2 minutes per day, and your mouth will learn English rhythm automatically. Your brain will stop translating so much because you're copying sound patterns, not grammar rules. But remember the rule. Upgrade one thing only. If you shadow, your upgrade could be rhythm or pronunciation. Don't try to do everything. Now, the next problem. What if the other person asks you a question you didn't prepare for? Good. That's real life. And you don't need a perfect answer. You need a reliable structure. Use the 3-part answer formula. Short answer: one reason, one detail, or example question. Why are you learning English? Short answer: for work. Reason: because I want better opportunities. Detail: I'm applying for international jobs and I need to speak confidently. That's it. 3 parts. Natural. Question: do you like living here? Short answer: yeah, mostly. Reason: because people are friendly. Detail: but the traffic is stressful sometimes. This structure is a cheat code because it stops your brain from going blank. You always know the next step. Now let's connect it back to your 30-second method. You're not just practicing answers, you're practicing control. That means every week, you add one rescue skill to your reps. Week example. Same micro question all week, same 10 recordings per day, same one upgrade per day plus one rescue phrase that you must use at least once in a real interaction. For example, this week you force yourself to use. Could you say that a bit slower? Even if you understood them. Yes, on purpose. Because you're training the habit of controlling speed. Next week you train. Let me check if I understood. Next week. How do you say? That's how you build real conversational power. Now let's talk about the biggest psychological trap, embarrassment. Embarrassment is not danger, it's a feeling. And feelings are not commands. Most people let embarrassment decide their actions. Then they wonder why their life doesn't change. If you want English that actually works, you must become the kind of person who can feel awkward and still speak. That's literally the skill. And here's the most honest thing I can tell you. The awkwardness doesn't disappear first. Your skill increases first. Then the awkwardness fades. So if you're waiting to feel confident, you're waiting forever. Act first. Feeling follows. Now, one more practical thing that will massively help you. Make your practice easier by lowering the stakes. You're not practicing English with strangers. You're doing a 30-second challenge. You're collecting no's. You're training. When you label it that way, you stop making it emotional. It becomes a game. And games are easier to repeat. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to make this method addictive for 7 days, how to build a simple challenge, how to keep viewers accountable, and how to turn no into motivations instead of humiliation so you actually finish the week and feel the breakthrough. You answer the question once, then you answer again and add one small detail, then again and add one or more detail. Example question: what do you do for fun? Answer 1. I like watching movies. Answer 2. I like watching movies, especially comedies. Answer 3. I like watching movies, especially comedies. To be honest, it helps me relax after work. Answer 4. I like watching movies, especially comedies. To be honest, after work my brain is tired, so I just want something light. That's natural English. Not fancy, not robotic. Human, and it works because you're rehearsing expansion, which is what real conversation is. Now, let's make this even more real for the people watching in different countries, because your daily life is different depending on where you live. If you're in India, the Philippines, Nigeria, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Kenya, English can be tied to work, exams, customer service, tech, migration. If you're in Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Turkey, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, English is often tied to travel, better jobs, online income, international opportunities. So your micro questions should match your reality. Here are micro questions tailored for real needs. Work focused. What do you do? What does your job involve? What's the hardest part of your work? What are you working on right now? Travel migration. Where would you like to travel? What do you want to do in the future? Why are you learning English? Study exams. What are you studying? How do you usually study English? What's difficult for you? Speaking, listening, or pronunciation? Now, let's hit the thing nobody tells you. Pronunciation improvement is not about sounding American or sounding British. It's about being understood without stress. So when you upgrade pronunciation, don't try to fix everything. Pick one high-frequency target. These are the best targets because they show up in every conversation. Ending sounds, TDKS. People drop them, then words blur. TH sound. Think this, you don't need perfect TH. You need consistent TH. V and W, very versus worry, huge clarity difference. Word stress. People can understand bad sounds, but bad stress kills understanding. Here's a simple stress example. I want to record a video versus I want to record a video. Same words, different stress, different meaning. So one day your upgrade can literally be stress the main word in the sentence. Now, let's be brutally honest. If you're doing the reps but you still feel like you're not improving, it's usually because you're not listening to yourself. That's why recording is non-negotiable. And you don't need to judge yourself like a loser. You just need to notice one thing. Each day after recording, ask, what's one thing that would make this sound clearer? 1, not 10. Maybe you said I am from too slowly. Maybe you swallowed the ending sound. Maybe you used every 2 seconds. Fine, pick one. Upgrade one. Now, let's lock the weekly plan so it's stupidly easy to follow. Day 1. Level 1 answer plus confidence upgrade day 2. Level 2 answer plus speed upgrade day 3. Add actually. Plus pronunciation upgrade on one word day 4. Add because. Plus remove 2 a day 5. Add 1 detail plus smoother rhythm day 6. Level 4 tiny story plus confidence day 7. Real human conversations plus repeat best version. That's how you build a real speaking skill in 1 week. And here's the most important part. You're building a system that survives bad days. Because motivation dies. Systems don't care. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to handle fast speakers, how to control conversations when you're lost, and the exact rescue moves to keep talking even when you don't know the word you need, without switching back to your native language. Because when real people speak fast, your brain doesn't fail. It does exactly what you trained it to do: panic, translate, freeze. So we're going to train a different response, one that keeps you in control even when you're lost. Let me give you the truth. Fluent speakers are not fluent because they know every word. They're fluent because they know how to survive missing words without collapsing. You need rescue moves, and you're going to practice them the same way. Small, repeatable, real. Rescue move 1, control the speed without sounding weak. Most learners stay silent because they think asking someone to repeat is embarrassing. That's ego, and ego is the enemy of growth. Use these lines. Sorry, could you say that a bit slower? Could you repeat that one more time? I caught the first part, but not the last part. That third one is powerful because it shows effort. People respect effort. They slow down automatically. Here's the key. Don't say it like you're apologizing for existing. Say it calmly. You're not begging. You're communicating. Rescue. Move 2. Paraphrase what you understood. This is the fastest way to look confident, even when you missed half the sentence. You say, so you mean? Let me check if I understood. Basically, you're saying, example, them. I moved here last year because the job market is better, but it was hard at first. You, even if you missed some words. So you mean you moved here for work and the beginning was difficult? Now you're controlling the conversation. You're not drowning in it. Rescue move 3. Use the safe sentence when you're blank. You need one sentence that you can always say while your brain reloads. Here are safe sentences. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. In my experience, they buy you time. And time is oxygen. Rescue move 4. Describe the word you don't know. This is how native speakers talk too. They forget words all the time. They just don't panic. Use. How do you say? It's like, it's the thing that. Example. You forget receipt. You say, how do you say, the paper you get after you pay? The proof. Boom. You stayed in English. You didn't switch languages. That's the win. Rescue move 5. Use simple alternatives instead of searching for the perfect word. This is another ego trap. Learners think if they can't say it perfectly, they shouldn't say it at all. Wrong. If you can't say I was overwhelmed, say I was stressed. If you can't say I'm exhausted, say I'm very tired. Simple words spoken smoothly beat advanced words stuck in your throat. Now let's talk about listening, because speaking fails when listening fails. If someone talks fast and you try to understand every single word, you will lose. Instead, you listen for meaning, not words. Here's how. Listen for these anchors: who, person, when, time, where, place, why, reason, feeling, emotion. If you catch those 5 anchors, you can respond even if you miss details. Example: them. Last year, I started working night shifts in a hotel, and at first it was terrible because my sleep was messed up. But now I'm used to it. Anchors. When last year, what night shifts, where hotel feeling terrible, then okay now, why? Sleep messed up. Your response can be simple and still natural. Wow, night shifts are tough. So at first, your sleep was bad, but now you've adapted? That's a real conversation. Now here's a drill that makes you unstoppable against fast speech. It's called 3-second shadowing. You take any short English clip, YouTube, podcast, movie, whatever. You listen to 3 seconds. Pause. Repeat exactly what you heard. Not perfectly, as close as you can. Then, next 3 seconds. Do this for 2 minutes per day, and your mouth will learn English rhythm automatically. Your brain will stop translating so much because you're copying sound patterns, not grammar rules. But remember the rule: upgrade one thing only. If you shadow, your upgrade could be rhythm or pronunciation. Don't try to do everything. Now, the next problem: what if the other person asks you a question you didn't prepare for? Good. That's real life. And you don't need a perfect answer. You need a reliable structure. Use the 3-part answer formula. Short answer: one reason, one detail or example question. Why are you learning English? Short answer: for work, reason. Because I want better opportunities. Detail: I'm applying for international jobs and I need to speak confidently. That's it. 3 parts. Natural. Question: do you like living here? Short answer: yeah, mostly. Reason: because people are friendly. Detail: but the traffic is stressful sometimes. This structure is a cheat code because it stops your brain from going blank. You always know the next step. Now let's connect it back to your 30-second method. You're not just practicing answers, you're practicing control. That means every week, you add one rescue skill to your reps. Week example: same micro question all week, same 10 recordings per day, same one upgrade per day, plus one rescue phrase that you must use at least once in a real interaction. For example, this week you force yourself to use, "Could you say that a bit slower?" even if you understood them. Yes, on purpose, because you're training the habit of controlling speed. Next week you train, "Let me check if I understood." Next week, "How do you say?" That's how you build real conversational power. Now let's talk about the biggest psychological trap: embarrassment. Embarrassment is not danger. It's a feeling, and feelings are not commands. Most people let embarrassment decide their actions. Then they wonder why their life doesn't change. If you want English that actually works, you must become the kind of person who can feel awkward and still speak. That's literally the skill. And here's the most honest thing I can tell you: the awkwardness doesn't disappear first. Your skill increases first. Then the awkwardness fades. So if you're waiting to feel confident, you're waiting forever. Act first. Feeling follows. Now, one more practical thing that will massively help you: make your practice easier by lowering the stakes. You're not practicing English with strangers. You're doing a 30-second challenge. You're collecting no's. You're training. When you label it that way, you stop making it emotional. It becomes a game, and games are easier to repeat. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to make this method addictive for 7 days, how to build a simple challenge, how to keep viewers accountable, and how to turn no into motivation instead of humiliation. So you actually finish the week and feel the breakthrough. Because if you treat it like studying, you'll quit the moment life gets busy. The only way you finish 7 days is if it becomes a challenge you can't wiggle out of. Simple, measurable, and a little bit addictive. So here's how you make the method stick. You don't set a goal like speak English better. That's vague. Vague goals create vague effort, and vague effort creates the same boring results. You set a goal like this. For 7 days, I will collect 7 real interactions and at least 20 no's. Now your brain has a game to play, and games are easier than dreams. Here's the exact 7 day challenge I want you to run, starting tomorrow. It's designed for real humans with jobs, families, school, stress, no fantasy schedule, daily non negotiables, record 10 answers, same micro question, upgrade one thing, ask one real human, online or offline, write down how many no's you got, that's it. Now, how do you keep yourself from quitting on day 3 when the excitement disappears? You build a minimum version for bad days. Minimum version, 2 minutes total. Record 3 answers, not 10. Ask one human online with a voice note, not in person. That still counts. Because consistency beats intensity. If you do the minimum on a bad day, you protect the habit. If you do nothing, you break the chain, and your brain starts the tomorrow lie again. And tomorrow is where progress goes to die. Now, let's turn no into fuel, not humiliation. You need a new definition of rejection. Rejection is not they rejected me. Rejection is I did the rep. So your scoreboard doesn't just track yes, it tracks attempts. Here's a simple scoring system. 1 point for recording, 1 point for upgrade, 1 point for asking a human, bonus point if you got rejected at least once, yes. Bonus for rejection. Because rejection proves you took action. It proves you stepped into discomfort. It proves you're not living like a spectator. If you avoid rejection, you avoid the training environment. Now, the next thing that keeps people stuck, they practice alone and never test under pressure. So I want you to add one pressure element per day. Pressure elements you can rotate. Ask a new person. Not the same friend practice in a noisier place. Park cafe. Do it standing up, not sitting. Do it when you're slightly nervous. Before work, not after you relax. Send a voice note instead of typing. These are small stressors that harden your speaking skill. Your mouth learns to work even when your heart rate is higher. That's what you need. Now, let's make this even easier with a daily script you can follow without thinking. Daily script. Hi, quick question. Can I practice English for 30 seconds? Just one question. If yes, thank you. Today's question is micro question. They answer. You respond with your level 2 or level 3 answer using one bridge phrase. Then you close. Thanks so much. I'm doing a 7 day challenge. Have a great day. This is clean, polite, not weird, and it's short enough that people say yes more often. Now, because this channel is Miss Ava English, and we're building retention, I'm going to give you a viewer-friendly twist you can include in your video delivery. Make the audience part of the challenge. You tell them, I want you to do this with me for 7 days. Comment day 1 today, and each day come back and comment how many no's you got. This does 2 things. It builds community accountability. It boosts engagement naturally without begging. But you, personally, also need accountability. So here's what you do if you're serious. Pick one English buddy in the comments or a friend and exchange daily proof. Proof can be a screenshot of your notes, a 10-second audio clip, a message, done, 3 no's today. When you know someone will check, you stop making excuses. Now let's talk about the emotional side, the part nobody wants to admit. A lot of people don't practice speaking because it touches something deeper than English. It touches pride. It touches the fear of looking small. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, I hate sounding like a beginner, good. That's the exact feeling you need to walk through. Because sounding like a beginner is not shameful. Refusing to be a beginner is what keeps you weak. You can either protect your pride and stay stuck, or you can sacrifice your pride for 7 days and level up. Pick one. Now, here's a powerful trick that makes the method feel rewarding faster. The before and after recording. Day 1. Record your level 1 answer once, save it. Day 7. Record the same answer again, save it. When you listen back, you will hear progress. Not imagined progress, real progress, smoother rhythm, fewer pauses, more natural flow. That proof is addictive. Because once you hear your own improvement, you stop needing motivation from YouTube videos. You become self-powered. Now, let's talk about the biggest difference between people who explode and people who stay average. People who explode don't practice when they feel good. They practice when they feel resistance. Resistance is the signal you're about to grow. So when you feel that tightness in your chest before asking someone, that's not a sign to stop. That's the doorway. Walk through it. And if you want to make it even easier, use a warm-up that takes 20 seconds. Warm-up, say your micro question out loud 3 times. Then say your level 1 answer 3 times. Then go ask the human. You're basically turning the engine on before you drive. Now, there's one more thing that will keep you from quitting. Choosing the right human target. Don't start with the scariest option. Start with low-stakes humans. Store staff you see daily, someone in a language community online, a classmate who's also learning, a friendly coworker, a tour guide, hostile staff, they're used to it. Then, as your confidence grows, you increase the difficulty. Strangers' voice rooms, fast speakers, new environments, that's progressive overload, like the gym. You don't start with the heaviest weight. You build up. Now at this point, you have a method, a weekly structure, rescue moves accountability, a challenge format that sticks. So the only question left is, what do you do when you finish 7 days? Because if you stop after 7 days, you'll slide back. So the next step is simple. You rotate micro questions weekly and you keep the system alive. 1 question per week, 1 upgrade per day, 1 human per day. That's how speaking becomes your identity, not your struggle. And in the final part, I'm going to hit you with the hardest truth. Why you're still stuck if you're stuck. Then I'll give you a clean, strong close and a clear action you can take today so you stop watching and start speaking. So here's the moment where I stop being nice and start being honest with you. If you still can't speak, it's not because you need one more app, one more textbook, one more grammar lesson, or one more motivational video. It's because you keep avoiding the one thing that actually builds speaking. Discomfort. You've been training your brain to recognize English, not to produce English. And your mouth? Your mouth has been on vacation. That's why you freeze. Not because you're dumb, not because you're not talented. Because you've practiced safety instead of performance. But here's the good news. The fix is simple, and it's fair. You don't need a special accent. You don't need a special country. You don't need a special teacher. You need reps. You need to be the kind of person who can feel awkward and still speak. That's it. And if you've made it this far in the video, you already have what most people don't. You're still here. You're still listening. You still want it. So I'm going to give you one clear challenge that removes all excuses. Starting tomorrow, you will do this for 7 days. 1 micro question, 10 recordings a day, 1 upgrade a day, 1 human a day, and you will track your no's, not your yes, your no's. Because no means you had the courage to ask. No means you did the rep. No means you stepped into the arena instead of staying in the audience. And yes, some people will say no, some will be busy, some will ignore you. A few might look at you like you're strange. So what? You're not doing this to win popularity. You're doing this to win your voice. Now, I want you to imagine the version of you that finishes this. It's day 7. You've recorded your answer so many times that your mouth doesn't shake anymore. You've asked enough humans that rejection doesn't feel personal. You've used actually, and to be honest, so often that your speech sounds natural. You've learned to say, could you say that slower without embarrassment? You've learned to survive missing words without switching to your native language. You've learned to keep going even when your heart is beating fast. That person is not lucky. That person is trained. And that person is you. If you stop negotiating with discomfort, because let me tell you what's really happening when you avoid speaking. Every time you say, I'll do it later, your brain learns a lesson. English is something we hide from. Every time you choose silence, your brain learns. We don't do hard things. And that lesson doesn't just affect English. It affects your confidence at work. It affects your ability to make international friends. It affects your opportunities, scholarships, jobs, travel, visas, interviews, business. English isn't just a language, it's access. Access to better work, access to global information, access to people who can change your life. And if you keep hiding, you're not just delaying English, you're delaying your future. Now, I want to be practical and real, so here's exactly what to do in the next 10 minutes after this video ends. Step 1. Choose your micro question for the week. Pick one right now. Where are you from? What do you do? Why are you learning English? What do you do for fun? Don't pick the perfect one. Pick one you can answer today. Step 2. Write your level 1 answer in one sentence, simple, real. Step 3. Record it 3 times right now, not tomorrow. Right now. Just to break the resistance. Step 4. Comment under this video, day 1. My question is, I'm watching from. I want you to do that because it's a public commitment, and public commitments are harder to break. Then tomorrow, you do the full version, 10 recordings, 1 upgrade, 1 human. And listen, if you don't have someone to talk to in person, don't act helpless. Use online voice notes. Use Discord. Use language exchange. Use any environment where English exists. The world is full of English. You're just choosing not to touch it. Now, I'm also going to give you a reality check that will save you years. If you do this for 7 days, you will improve. If you do this for 30 days, you will shock yourself. If you do this for 90 days, people will start saying, your English got so good. Not because you found a secret, because you finally did what works. Most people want results without reps. They want confidence without discomfort. They want fluency without embarrassment. That's childish. If you want adult-level results, you do adult-level training. And the training is not complicated. It's just uncomfortable. So let me ask you one final question, honestly. How many years are you going to keep telling yourself you're learning English while still being scared to speak? Because the longer you wait, the more painful it becomes. But if you start now, even messy, even imperfect, even shaky, you'll be proud of yourself in a way no grammar book can give you. You'll have proof. Proof that you're not the kind of person who runs from discomfort. Proof that you can build a skill like a real adult. Proof that you can change. Now, here's what I want from you. No excuses. Like this video if you're doing the 7-day challenge. Subscribe to Miss Ava English if you want more practical speaking methods that actually work in real life. And comment day 1 with your micro question and your country so I can reply and hold you accountable. And if you quit, don't blame English. Blame the soft part of you that chose comfort over growth. Final line, burn this into your mind. If you can't speak, it's not because you're stupid. It's because you're avoiding discomfort. So start collecting no's, and your English will finally explode.